Hi friends, welcome to the next video. In this video we are continuing with our investigation into 5, and this time I'm going to explore a little more phrasing from the Indian side, if you wish to think that way. I'd like to call this video Beyond Takatakita, right? Takatakita is the phrasing, one of the most typical conical phrases in 5. Of course, you can also say takita taka, right? But I like to think of this as going a little beyond that whole concept, and this whole thing in 5. You know, if you saw the last video, you saw what I do from a Western type of perspective on the kit. Now, coming from an Indian perspective, let's just explore the whole thing with takatakita, right? If you take like the pulses that we're exploring here in the solo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's the time. Now, if we say takatakita across the whole bar, it just sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ta ka ta ki ta ta ka ta ki ta. It's just one syllable per pulse. Okay, if you double it, it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taka takita taka takita taka takita taka takita 1. Right? So, if you explore that simply on the drum set, it just can sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, that's the first thing you should do, just hand to hand playing takatakita, right? You can move the beginning of the groups of syllables to the toms. It's a typical thing everybody does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Now, another thing you can do is put the bass drum and the snare on the beginning of each grouping, right? Taka takita taka takita. Like that. So already you have some very, very interesting things that you can do. Of course, you can move that around in the space of the bar. You can displace it, you know, you can do a lot of things with paradiddles. You know, you can double the time, which is called a diminution. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just taking that takatakita and doing paradiddle, paradiddle, diddle. Of course, you can move it to the toms and the cymbals, right? That's a very typical thing everybody does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? It's a very beautiful phrase. Now, you know, you can do combinations like what we just talked about with the toms and the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Again, very, very beautiful phrase, very common. And of course, you have right hand lead. Okay, right hand lead. If you don't know what that is, go back on my channel here and check out the right hand lead video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the right hand is leading all the phrase. Okay, now with that in mind, what you can do is also create groove kind of phrasings with the snare drum and bass drum taking the beginning of each vocalization, each group in the vocalization. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taka taki ta taka taki ta taka taki ta taka taki ta. Okay, so if you do that in time, you have kind of a shuffle kind of a groove happening. If you start to move the time around in your mind, you kind of have like the kind of a metric modulation. Not really, but you have an illusion of metric modulation. Taka taki ta taka taki ta taka taki ta taka taki ta taka taki ta. Okay, and it starts to sound like a shuffle. That's the amazing thing about rhythm and using the different voices on the kit. It's very, very beautiful. So many things you can do, right? Another thing that I do a lot is use my Skidoo system. If you haven't checked out the Skidoo system, go back here on the channel and watch the Skidoo videos, which are very helpful for playing in any kind of odd meter setting. Okay, so one Skidoo, if you know what the Skidoo system is, one Skidoo is 5, okay? So one Skidoo, one Skidoo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One Skidoo, one Skidoo, one Skidoo, one Skidoo, one Skidoo, one Skidoo. Okay? Now, with that in mind, we're just going to play around the kit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, lots of nice things you can do with that idea. Now, another thing that I do a lot is I double the time, okay? And in Indian music, this is what would be considered almost a diminution, okay? If you double the time of a phrase, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's what that sounds like. I like to do that a lot between the bass drum and keeping a snare, okay? So I'm just gonna do a little demonstration for you guys here. And I'm gonna use the metronome to control what I'm doing and make sure I'm doing everything correctly. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, Okay, so that's a bunch of ideas that you can check out in 5 with the Indian, more of an Indian type of concept. Now, I like to go beyond this, as you know, and do things that involve more Western type phrasing. For example, the 3-bar cycle, which, you know, if you're a friend of the channel here, you already know I talk about that a lot because it's a huge piece of missing information in the drumming community. So the 3-bar cycle on the kit, okay? We're gonna check it out on the kit, but in 5, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you see, it lands on the 1 after 3 bars of 5. Now, what you can do with that is this. We're gonna play a backbeat type of setting, and we're gonna keep that going, all right, on the bass drum. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so it's very interesting what happens there. You can get a real nice extended phrase if you can keep it in 8-bar structures or 4-bar structures, which is the next step, you know, in these types of studies, keeping the structure while playing a 3-bar cycle, whatever, 4, 8, 16, whatever you want to, the length of the structure that you want to play. Now, another thing I do is do diminutions of this. Okay, so we talked about this permutation of the 3-bar cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, those are really hearing exercises more than anything else. If you want to take that phrase and explore with it, you can do the obvious things, you know, put it on the tom and make it into a groove. This is what it sounds like in a type of a groove setting, all right? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, you can see all the possibilities you can have with that. You can do so many beautiful things with it. And I like to do that a lot, you know. So with those basic ideas, you know, you have a ton of things to expand on. And as you see, I like to work from a rhythmic perspective more than a rudimental perspective or a lick perspective, okay? That way you never run out of ideas, you know, using rhythm as your vocabulary. You never run out of ideas. So that thing that I just showed you right there, it can be displaced, it can be made into an augmentation, a diminution, you know, so many things to do. That's why rhythm is so just flabbergasting, you know. It's just an amazing thing when you start to really learn about it. So another beautiful concept that people seem to enjoy very much is the organic type of phrasing. That means no time involved, but just always keeping the pulse no matter what you do on the drums, right? That's a whole art form in itself. Now, I'm just going to give you one example that I used in the solo here. All right, so it's this phrase, just alternating oodles, as I call them. It's just this. Okay, everybody knows that, but they're alternating, right? So like this. Okay, now if I do that fast, this is what it sounds like. So it's a really nice phrase, and we're going to do it in an organic type of setting in 5, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so what I do is I disconnect my body from my mind almost. It's like I'm keeping track with my mind, but it's like observing my body from one step removed from my body. Just let, whatever the phrase is, it just happens, for this phrase, for example. And I don't have any subdivisions in mind. I just go for it. The phrase, I just sonically create texture. And that's the concept behind organic soloing, right? And you can do that in many ways. You can do this type of stuff too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as you know where the 1 is, you're fine, okay? Now that adds a beautiful dimension to your playing that can really be super exciting and a great challenge, right? Now, one thing is to feel this in 5, when you're doing organic type of playing. You really have to make sure you know what you're doing. In 4 is one thing, and if you're not used to playing in 5, it can be a great challenge. So, yeah, I hope this was useful for you and that you'll check out this solo. It's something I enjoyed doing very much. Now let's check out the concept of the metric modulation illusion, right? Of the shuffle. So if the time is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now if you really stretch that out and make it kind of lazy, it even sounds more like a shuffle. But all it is taka takita taka takita, right? I mean, some people act like they invented that. It's been around for a very, very long time in India. It's like nothing new. It's just some people latched onto that and they think they invented it. It's pretty funny. But and inside of that, you can do all kinds of things, make it sound funky too. So like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of really beautiful things you could do. You can mess around with that, inverting the displacing the snare drum, putting it on the 1, whatever. So many things to do. Okay, so if you're interested in studying with me, we have the lesson site that, of course, is waiting for you, philmatrano.com. And we're doing hand consultations, as always, $100, an hour of hand consultation on the video chat, what's up. And of course, we have Drummers Intensive Day coming in Europe. If you want to line up a Drummers Intensive Day in your country or city, just write me here and let me know. And yeah, the Elite program is happening. And yeah, I'm going to be in Europe for about 2 months coming up, very soon now. And I'm really looking forward to it, seeing old friends, playing with old friends again, and just a lot of gigs, and there's quite a few events happening over there. So yeah, let's have a listen to the solo, Enjoy. Peace. See you next video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Take 7.